Hello everybody, and thank you for coming back to the channel, and welcome to this video which is all about building the wing. So as you can see, I've already built the wing. This is the right wing, so that's the leading edge and the trailing edge. Overall, I think a nice construction. I think it went well. It's quite straightforward. Most of the ribs are the same and very well cut with a laser machine. It's quite good. The only bit of maybe a bit of complication was the root rib that has to be at a 5-degree angle. So for that I prepared a little template on wood and somehow pushed it along like that, which is good. But then the next big question, and I've got a discussion going on with Cliff, so thank you Cliff for that discussion, is about having ailerons or not. I do plan to have ailerons, and I've even bought a Y cable. This is the Y cable, and in theory this connects on the one hand to the receiver and then to the two servos, so that's the plan. But I am a bit worried about the weight, because each of these servos, they're called 9-gram servos, but with cable and everything goes up to like 10, maybe 11 grams. So it's like, and then maybe the push rods and things like that, so it's maybe like 12 grams, maybe 13 grams on each side. That's 26 grams in total, which I think is significant. Cliff is saying that I should do it without ailerons, just like with rudder and elevator. I'm a bit skeptical because I don't think my construction is good enough to be stable just on its own. So what I'm going to do, my current decision is going to be, I'm going to build it with ailerons, and then if it's too heavy, remove them and then use the ailerons to trim. Now if it flies with ailerons, then all well and good, that's good. If it's too heavy, as I say, I think it's easier to remove the aileron, the servos, than to actually put them in if they're needed. So that's why I'm going to try to do it like that. Maybe more complicated at the beginning, but an easier fix later on. I think once it's built, to put in the ailerons afterwards, I think it's going to be much more difficult. So I'm going to build in the ailerons, and hopefully the motor and the propeller, they're strong enough to bring the cab into the air. So as I say, this is then the right wing. I'm going to work now already on the aileron. I've got to cut and then put in some extra sheets of wood, and then once I have that done, I'll show it to you, and then I'm going to do the same on the left side. And one thing that you can't see, but it's here, it's drawn here, it's also the center section of the wing. So that's the task for this video. I have some progress. So that was the right wing that I think I've already shown you. I've sanded it down, like down the wingtip. There's a bit of a, I would say, a bit of an error there in the laminating of the wingtip, but nothing too bad actually, so no complaint there. And I've done also the left wing, which is pretty much the same. I would actually think I want to weigh both wings separately. Let's see if I get to the same weight. I've also done the ailerons. One of them is a little bit better than the other. I think you can probably see it. This one is a little bit crooked, but I think I'm going to go with it still. So that's the ailerons that will go in there. I hope you can see it. But I've got also some of the wiring set up, because now what I have to figure out is how to embed the servos into the wing, somewhere in this position. I don't know if you can see it. I've got the holes in the ribs to be able to put the cable through, but I've just paired it up, and I know that the servos do move, so now I just have to figure out if the arms are moving in the right direction. Let me need to maybe take off the horn. So they're horns, right? These are called horns. And so if this goes on to the right wing, and I want it to go to the right, this means that this has to go backwards. So let's see if it works. It doesn't, it's the other way around. Let's see if the other one is better. I've never done this. This is part of the point of learning, right? So if this one, let's see, to the right, no. If I put it the other way around, probably not going to work either. So right, no, it's going the other way. And on if I put it on the other side, I want it to go left. This is right. Are they moving the same? So let's see if they're moving actually the same. I suppose they will move in the same, right? So this is right and left, yes. So the servos do move in the same direction. So might need to see whether there's any way of reversing them. Or I put them in another way, right? If I put it in like this, I go right, yes, it would work. But it might be better to reverse. And this one, if I wanted to go left, that would mean this has to go up and it's going the other way around. So I'm going to see if I can figure out if I can reverse the servos on the controller. Let's see. And I'm also thinking like how to put them into the wing. So it did take me a little bit of fighting with the controller, with the transmitter. So I think I've managed to reverse. It was at 100%, so I put it minus 100%. And if I want to turn to the right, this has to go back so that the aileron goes up. And the other one has to go to the front. So let's see. Yeah, so it seems to be okay. And then the other one, the left one, will go then forward, which means that the aileron will go down, again turning it to the right. And then if I want to go to the left, the opposite. So this seems to be okay like this. I don't know if it actually matters if I change it over or not. In any case, what I'll probably do, I'll put some labeling. I'll put like right aileron on this cable, left aileron on this cable, and also on the white connector down there. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see there. Just to be sure that I have it, so I'm going to keep it like this separately. There. So that's, I need to label that before I forget. And then the next steps is going to be to make the holes, as I mentioned here, somehow to embed the, let's see if I can point at it, to embed the servos in here, and that they're as close as possible to the center of the airplane. And what else do I have to do? I also have to build in, I don't know if you can see it here, yeah, I have to build the centerpiece of the wing. And when I have that and all the aileron setup done, then it's pretty much done, the wing. So let's see how it goes. Before I forget, and now that I have you, I'm going to try to weigh both wings. Let's see. This is the right wing. Let's see how much it comes in at. Four grams plus the aileron, 4.7 grams. And let's see the left wing, seems lighter, 3.6 grams. So what can the difference be? No, now it's 5.2 grams, and maybe it's leaning on something. And 5.4 grams. More or less, so similar in weight, which is good. I'm trying to keep it also balanced right to left, that it's as balanced as possible. There's still more material coming onto it, like the servos and the tissues, so that will also affect it. But just trying to keep an eye and see if it's more or less on track. So good progress on this. Next update, center section and the ailerons mounted onto the wings themselves. And a brief update on the wing. So this is the center section. I eventually managed to decipher the instructions. It took me a while, but I got it. There's an angled piece of wood there, and that was confusing me. And then there are these pieces here that, again, I was looking for them and I didn't find them until I realized that actually this is the piece that I had to look for. This is the piece that actually goes in there, and I've already carved one side out, so this one is already carved, still not glued in. I might need to do a bit more sanding, but this is then the shape that comes in here. And now I'm going to do the same, exactly the same, but inverted with this other one. So I think it's going to give it a nice shape. Let's see how that goes. As of other thoughts that I have running, and I'm not sure how I'm going to fix it, is how to cover the servos, because those are the servos, but they're sticking out a little bit because they're too big for the wing. So I'm not sure exactly how to cover them, just to put tissue on them or make a wooden cover for them. I'm not sure, I've got to figure that out. And then another one is also how to put the whole wing together. Like I was thinking of maybe putting screws through. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Another thing would be maybe to keep the wing complete in one full piece, but it might also be good to make it removable for size and for transport. But I'm not sure if that's going to be so easy, because if I look at the profile, here's the profile, I could potentially putting a dowel in here to put the rubber band, to attach rubber bands over it, but I'm not sure if this is going to be strong enough to do that or not. So I'm still not sure how I'm going to do it, but I think it would be good if I managed to do it in a way that it's removable, then unplug the servos for transport, because not it's going to be quite a big thing for moving about. It's going to be a bit more awkward. But anyhow, those are the thoughts that I have. Not much more, other than also then the tissue covering should be starting, and I might actually be starting to do that before I go with more balsa. I might start to do some of the tissue covering just to get it done somehow and mix up the task a little bit. Not that I do only wood at the beginning and then tissue. I struggle with the tissue, so maybe I might do the tissue now before I go on with the woodwork. So anyhow, next update, let's see what I'm doing. Another update with the wing build. The first thing I did was to kind of verify that the dihedral was okay. It wasn't, so I had to sand this down a little bit. I was then checking, and actually the original Piper doesn't have dihedral, right? But this is a original rubber powered model. It has some dihedral built in, so I had to correct it, and I guess I'll keep it now. I won't change it now anymore. Then what I did, because I wanted to mix things up a little bit, I started to put the tissue, so it's going yellow, of course, like as a Piper cup. But then I realized that I still need to put in some more wood planks. Like here I've got a wood piece to hold in the servo, and that's now glued in and solid. And I'd forgotten I have to put this one in, because this is where the servo arm will go, and that it can move backwards and forwards. I haven't tested it, so I might still need to do some sanding. I'll see how that goes. And another thing I have to do is also then the ailerons, right? I need to figure out what hinges to use. I did buy some hinges. I'm not sure if I have them somewhere here. Some of these special hinges, but let's see if you can see them. But I'm not sure if to use these or to use the fishing thread, the fishing line. This fishing line, and with super glue to put it in place. I'm not sure yet how to do it, and it has to be in a way that I can kind of remove it. I also have to put in the horns, the control horns. I do have here a couple of sets. This would be enough, I believe, for ailerons, and then I think I have somewhere in my mess, yeah, I have one then for ailerons and for elevator and rudder. So they're very big, they're the biggest I've ever used. And they have screws, and I think those screws are maybe a bit too long, so I don't know if I have to cut them and things like that, but we'll see how that goes. In any case, as I said, I started with the tissue covering. I probably shouldn't have yet. I'll try to do a bit more of the mechanics and only then go back to the tissue, so that I don't break the tissue while fiddling about with the whole wing. Let me wrap up this video, because I think it's going to drag on for too long, so let's see if I can cut it short a little bit. So what I was doing, as you see here, I've got the servo in place. I put in the horn on the aileron. It had very long screws, so then I had to saw them off because they're really very long, and I put some glue on it so that it's somehow a bit softer. Let's see. I've put in like provisional hinges, which are basically masking tape. And I made also the push rod. Let's see if you can see it here. Here it is, the push rod that connects the servo arm with the aileron. So I did that, and then I wanted to test if it were working, like if the push rod was okay and the servo centered. So I took out the servo tester, I connected it all up with the battery, and then I heard a little pop, and I popped the servo. I connected the connector the wrong way around into the servo tester, and basically popped and it stopped working. I did then manage to test another servo and it does work, but I had to look up what way to put it in, because I was putting in the servo in, I think I plugged it in like this, maybe, and it should have been like this. So I wrote on the back how to do it, like with the connectors looking up, and that's one servo that's gone, so I have to order new ones. I have to take this one out, putting a new one, and that's been quite a lot of work to glue it in place, so there's a lot more work to do there. And lessons learned is of course to watch out much better. I did think about it, but I didn't catch it. And what is still confusing for me is the color of the cables, because some cables, they have this color which is yellow, orange and brown, which I'm not sure which is which. And then I have other cables, I think the white cables here, these are black, red and white, which I think is clearer. So in any case, a big boo-boo, one servo down, and now I have to rip it out and putting a new one, and then continue with the building of the wing, which will be the tissue covering, the aileron, the hinges, gluing the wing together and all that. So that's why I'm going to leave it here, because now this is going to drag on for way too long, and hopefully on the next chapter we'll finish off the wing and have a functioning wing without broken servos. Thank you everybody for watching as usual, and I'll see you next time.